Welcome to the Live, Work, Play Maine podcast, where we bridge the divide between marketing and economic development, with your host, Hilary Dow.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Live, Work, Play Maine podcast, where we help businesses and communities bridge the gap between marketing and economic development. I'm your host, Hilary Dow, and I am absolutely thrilled that my first guest is Rich Brooks, president of Flight New Media and founder of the Agents of Change conference. I had my business idea last fall at the Agents of Change conference, and sitting in one of the sessions during that day literally changed my life. So here we are today. Welcome, Rich. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, well, that's great to hear, and obviously love hearing that the Agents of Change made such a big difference in your life and hopefully in the lives of a lot of Mainers, since you're going to obviously have an impact on their lives as well.
Thank you. So how about we start out with you telling us a little bit about Flight New Media and why do you love it?
Sure. All right, so I started Flight about 17 years ago now, which every time I say that is a little bit more depressing because I can't believe how long I've been doing this, but I do love it. So Flight New Media is a web design and internet marketing company, excuse me, and we build and design websites. We're a WordPress agency. And on top of that, we help primarily small businesses, but we also do nonprofits and healthcare as well. And we work with them on their search engine optimization and their social media marketing. Sometimes it's in training, sometimes it's in consulting, and sometimes they just outsource all of their digital marketing to us. So we're really there to help drive more qualified traffic to people's websites and then turn that into leads and sales. Yeah. And why do I love it? I guess I love the creative aspect of it, even though I can't design anything. There's a lot of creativity in running your own business. I also just struggle working for other people, so it's always been kind of like nice to have my own business and be able to, at the end of the day, even though I like to get everybody's input, to be able to say, this is how we're going to move forward because this is the vision for success.
Excellent. I love that. So you work with a lot of clients, either directly or your staff does, and I'm sure that you see common trends in the challenges that most clients are facing when it comes to their marketing. So what do you see as one of the top trends, that problem that everyone seems to run into?
Well, one problem I see with a lot of people is just the lack of time to do proper marketing, and that's always something people struggle with. And I do a lot of presentations on different topics like blogging and Facebook and other social media. And one of the big questions or concerns that always comes up is, how often do I need to blog? Or how many times do I need to post to Facebook? Or how much time should I be dedicating to this? And there's just, it's difficult, especially if you're a small business, to find the time to make a difference. But in my mind, I'm like, you have to do this. This is part of running a business, is marketing your business, letting people know about it so that you can keep the pipeline full, especially small business where, a few bad months can make a huge difference. Giant corporations, maybe they can get away with a few bad months or a bad quarter, or even a bad year or two. But for small businesses, you just don't have that much buffer room.
Okay. So this might lead into this next question. When it comes to goal setting, and a lot of your content, you reinforce the need to set goals. And so are there maybe goals that are universal among businesses that are good advice for people to consider if they're not already setting marketing goals? They might build one or two that you could recommend into that mix of goals?
Well, I think there's certainly, every industry is going to be unique and different. And I worked with clients whose main goal is just, I want to increase awareness of my brand or awareness of my product or awareness of the cause that I believe in. And then I've talked on the other end of things, I need to create online sales. So a lot of it still comes down to the same thing. It comes down to, and obviously I have a very web-centric perspective, but in my mind, the rubber hits the road at your website. So what I'm always focusing, when I'm always working with people, I'm like, what is the objective here? What does the website need to do to help you grow your business so you don't have to spend as much time thinking about your website? So that sometimes helps clarify some of these goals. Like for, an inn, it's putting heads in beds, as they say. For a summer camp, it's about making sure that you have a full roster of kids ready to go. For a professional consultant, It may be about establishing or building a list so that you can continually market to these people. So I think you really need to clarify those goals. Is there one goal that's right for everybody? No, I don't think so. But there are certain things that we talk to a lot of clients about. And a lot of it comes down to driving more qualified traffic to the website, and then building a website that actually converts those people, that persuades them to take some sort of action, desirable action, to move them down the sales funnel. That could be picking up the phone, that could be filling out a contact form, it could be even just signing up for an email newsletter. Very powerful tool when it comes to online marketing.
Okay, so I'm the business owner who has gotten those people to my website. Are there particular tools once that viewer is at my site that you would recommend to capture that lead in a way that takes them to the next step?
Well, sure, there are different tactics. One thing that has worked very successfully for my company and a lot of other companies we work with is the idea of, I call it email bait. Some other people call it lead magnet, which is a nicer term, actually. Maybe I should start using it. But the idea of, a lot of people aren't ready to make a buying decision when they get to your website. They're in research mode, right? And they go to your website and 20 other people's websites. They're going to forget about you very likely. So what you need to do is you need to get their contact information so you can continue marketing to them. And these days, people don't want to sign up for just another marketing or e-commerce newsletter. So you need to kind of persuade them, maybe do a trade. So for a while, we've had an article available for download only to people who register for our email newsletter. So it appears as a free download, which it is. Click on the link, and then it says, not only do you get this article, you'll get these other articles, and you'll be subscribed to our free email newsletter. You can unsubscribe at any time. And we went from getting like 2 new subscribers a month to getting over 200 subscribers a month just using that tactic.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that'll definitely work. Other things like as you're designing a website, very often I've seen websites that just have too much going on and too many colors. The more you can simplify your website design and maybe just choose one color that we would call an action color, that let's say it's the color orange. So the color orange comes to represent, clickable links or buttons or forms that they need to fill out. And you don't use that color orange anywhere else on the website. So it becomes a cue that something happens behind this button or behind this link that's worth taking a look at. So those are some of the things that you might take a look at, for sure.
Awesome. I know that I, for one, huge believer in give content away for free, and those that do that really well and provide valuable information, they will have that come back to them in spades. So I definitely agree with you.
Absolutely.
So let's see. In the past year, has there been an online resource that's new to you that you think to yourself, wow, how did I live without this before I found it?
That's a good question. I've actually not been using that many new things because I found some tried and true things, but there's something that I'm playing around with right now that I do have a lot of hope for, and I've heard good things from some of my friends who are already using the tool, and it's called Lead Pages. And what this is it's an online tool that allows you to quickly make what I call squeeze pages or landing pages, and also something now, this new service called Lead Boxes. And what this does is it just makes it easier for you to create forms and other pages that convert at a higher rate. This is a paid service. You pay a monthly fee for it. But what's nice about it is you can create these forms on the fly. And so let's say that you want to get people to download that ebook and join your mailing list. Well, this tool will allow you to quickly create a page that then connects to your Constant Contact account or MailChimp account or whatever you're using, and be able to collect all that information and get them signed up for your newsletter much more easily. Or if you want to have like one of those nice little pop-up boxes that when somebody clicks on a button, it pops up, and again, the form information is right there, you can do that as well. You can even create lead video links. So like while they're watching a video, even when you put up to YouTube, you can have a little pop-up box within the video, either one that stops the video and requires somebody to give information before the video proceeds, or just stays there asking somebody to sign up for your email newsletter or to register in some way or fashion.
Awesome. And I think that oftentimes it's the incremental addition of these tools that is good to reinforce that with people, because I know that I've been looking into marketing automation and learning that whole system where it brings everything together, and that's a little overwhelming, but lead pages is one that I'm looking at and saying, wow, I can just take this little segment of it and have that be a really, really valuable tool. So that's a good one. Let's see. So when you first started your business 17 years ago, you said it was?
Yes.
Was there an aha moment of, oh my gosh, I'm glad I learned that lesson in the first year or two rather than, have something go for a few years? Can you share maybe one of your aha moments with me?
Oh, I have so many aha moments, and quite honestly, they still keep popping up. Just last year I had a big one, but the bottom line is there's a lot of things that I've noticed over the years, and usually I learn my lessons through experimentation or by just sheer accident I realize something. One of the things that for me was a big aha was just putting up a lot of free content that answered my ideal customer's biggest problems. And that sounds so obvious now, and it's the mantra that everybody talks about, but it never really, occurred to me until I started looking at my Google Analytics and seeing what was driving traffic to my website. For example, years ago, when I had been on Twitter for maybe 6 months or so, I wrote an article called How to Use Twitter for Business. And then I started looking at my stats, and I saw that related searches were driving traffic to that very page. On average, about 300 new visitors a month just to that one page based on a search they were doing. And that's when I realized that by creating content that addresses my ideal customer's biggest problems, I could raise awareness of my company. And some of them, of course, turned into customers or subscribers to my email newsletter. So that was a big aha moment for me, definitely. It's still something we practice. There's a lot more competition these days. A lot more people have realized that, but that's definitely something. And video. I mean, talk about something I wish I had done more. I wish I do more of, quite honestly. But when I started preparing for a presentation on YouTube marketing a few years ago, I took a look at our statistics for our website, and I noticed we've set up what are called Google Analytic goals. They tell us when people fill out our contact form, it pays attention to where that person came from, and then you can run some additional reports on it. So when I looked at my Google Analytic goals on who is filling out my contact form, which is usually a good sense of whether somebody's going to turn into a lead or not, it turned out that people who had watched a video of ours on YouTube and then came to the website were 700% more likely to fill out our contact form than somebody who had not gone through YouTube first, through the average site visitor. And I thought that was huge. And so I made it my goal to create more videos on a regular basis, because with videos, and we're doing a video interview right now, you see the person, you hear their voice, there's a real connection that's going on. And people, after they watch your video, they're like, I think I know Hillary. And so they feel like they know you, you're more trustworthy, you're more likely to get their business.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100%. I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of my goals with Live, Work, Play Maine is to help bring video marketing into the lives of business owners. So excellent. Yeah, 2 thumbs up for that one. So let's see. So you've already listed a few different strategies that have worked well for your business. But is there maybe a favorite or one that you haven't mentioned that whether it seems like it's an entry-level strategy or one to work towards, something that you would advise people at least just file away because you know that it's really brought value to your company and it should be something that if it fits for their type of business, they should consider?
There are so many good ones. I mean, I guess if I was starting from scratch and talking to somebody who's kind of just starting out, or maybe they have a website that was designed by their brother-in-law and they're not really getting any traction, some of the core concepts that I would practice these days would be that have a website on a content management system. I prefer WordPress. So our website and our blog are both on WordPress. And we're actually going through a redesign right now. In the next month or two, we're going to have a brand new website up that's going to have both our website and our blog under one roof. So build something on a content management system. Like I said, I prefer WordPress. If you are looking to not do e-commerce on your website, then your number one goal is about generating leads. So everything on your website should lead to getting those leads. So at the bottom of every page, there should be some sort of call to action. And by that, it could be as simple as a link that goes to a contact form, or even put the contact form at the bottom of every single page, which is something we do on our own website. Those are the big things. You just want to think about, as you build out this site, I want to get people to start sharing their information with me so I can help them out. So what is it going to take? What objectives can I help them reach on my website so that they'll contact me? So those are some of the core concepts that I talk about. Just do everything you can to build that list.
Yeah. Excellent. I know that as I went through the Flight website, I saw those forms on every page and I thought, that's fantastic. It doesn't matter where I'm navigating, he's trying to capture me. So great tip. Thank you.
We actually had to make those forms less friendly, because what happened is we used to just have a link at the bottom of every page that went to our contact form. And then I'm like, why are we making people click an extra link? So let's just put the forms right there on every single page. And unfortunately, we got a lot more leads, but they were lower quality leads. Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing is I made those forms at the bottom of every page 2 steps. So first you fill out the first half of it, and then when you think you're done, then we ask some additional questions. Mm-hmm. The number of leads we got went down, but the quality of those leads that came in was much better, took up a lot less of our time. So that way we found the perfect medium for us as a company.
Yeah, I had just read that the longer the form, the more qualified the lead. So when I clicked on yours and the form was that much longer, I just typed away because I thought, yep, I'm a qualified lead. Let's go.
There you go.
So my favorite last question of every interview, whether you are a Maine-based company, but whether you are or are not, what is your favorite thing about living, working, or playing in Maine?
It's funny because today is a snow day, so I didn't do it. But I would have to say the commute. I mean, I used to live in Boston. I used to have a long commute. It was definitely an aggravation. And I remember reading in the Wall Street Journal that when they've done long-term studies, the number one thing that made for better quality of life was how long your commute was, or that was the reverse of it. The fact that I could actually ride my bike to work, that's huge. So it's got to be quality of life. I know that there's things we sometimes don't get as much in Maine, but just the idea that I can walk around the old port, bump into friends, bump into customers and clients, and end up having a great meal with them or a cup of coffee somewhere, that makes living and working in Maine one of my favorite things to do.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of this today, for hosting and founding the Agents of Change conference, being so savvy with internet marketing and sharing that information with your viewers and now the viewers and the audience that I'm building. I thank you in spades. I have appreciated this, and I look forward to many, many more exchanges to come. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And I hope I see you at Agents of Change in 2014.